Greetings, it's New Zealand naturopath Eric Bakker, author of Candida Crusher and formulator of CanXida, the Candida dietary supplements of choice. Thanks for checking out my video. I've got lots of questions here from people all over the world, many different countries. Thank you for sending me in these questions, and thank you for the awesome comments I've received on my YouTube Candida Crusher channel. It's very inspiring. It's for people like you that I make these videos, people that are looking for some real answers, not a load of baloney and garbage that I've been reading on the internet, but I'm going to give you a lot of common sense and good ideas on how you can really get rid of these Candida yeast infections. So here's a question I got from a guy in California a couple of days ago. Eric, how do I know I have chronic Candida? Well, Jeff, let me tell you, there's many ways you can find out if you've got chronic Candida, but you'll know you've got chronic Candida by the awful, terrible, crappy quality of life that you've got. You'll know you've got chronic Candida when you've been to 10 different doctors and 5 different naturopaths and 4 different chiropractors and 2 psychiatrists and, God knows who else you've gone to, and you've had no answers. You know you've got chronic Candida when you've been told it's all in your head and there's nothing wrong with you, that you need to get a hold, of your life and just get on with things. These were the things that I was told when I had chronic Candida in my 20s. I was told I needed to go to see a psychiatrist, that I was nuts, that there was nothing wrong with me. In fact, my doctor told me that I couldn't have Candida because I wasn't a woman and only women got vaginal yeast infections that he considered to be chronic Candida. The sad thing is there are a lot of misconceptions regarding chronic yeast infections, and many people still even today believe it just simply doesn't exist. When you've got chronic Candida, you usually have some kind of a digestive problem. Not always, but usually. And this will generally involve some unresolved issue that's been going on for weeks, months, or even years. And it can be something simple like bloating or gas. It can be constipation or diarrhea. I just got off FaceTime. I just had a FaceTime session with a lady in Australia, a 47-year-old woman who's had chronic Candida. She's 47. She's had chronic Candida for about 25 years. She's got a bowel motion every 4 days. She's got seriously bad sugar cravings and loves chocolate. She's got vaginal yeast infection. She's got toenail fungus. She's had all these kinds of problems, and she's been to so many doctors, and nobody's really helped her. So, as I mentioned, chronic Candida will often involve a gut problem of some kind. Unexplained food allergies or sensitivities to many different kinds of foods is something I routinely see in people. People who tend to have very selective diets, or people who hop from one diet to another. They might be on the GAPS diet, then the FODMAP diet, then the body ecology diet, then on this diet, then on that diet. People who tend to stop gluten because they think that's the problem. People who tend to go vegan, people who tend to go paleo. All these people who go on these crazy, wacky, ridiculous diet approaches because they're not feeling good. These are often the Candida cases. Chronic Candida will generally involve immune dysfunction, leaky gut. Very commonly see it. And when you get leaky gut, it means that your digestive systems become a lot more permeable. And if you throw sugar on top of the equation, you're going to find people will start complaining of things like feeling tired, fatigued, spaced out, brain fog, lacking the brain power, memory, cognition dysfunction, sleeping disorders, mood disorders, anxiety, depression, tiredness. All of these things are signs and symptoms of chronic Candida. A typical one I see with chronic Candida is tiredness, fatigue. Some doctors will say to you when you go and visit them with a chronic yeast infection, get out of my room. Everyone tells me they're tired. I don't care if you're tired. I want to treat sick people, not tired people. I've heard that before. I've heard a doctor tell a patient that. How do you know you got chronic Candida? Vaginal yeast infection that won't go away, that's recurrent. Vaginal yeast infection that's had you take multiple medications and had vaginal swabs for many years and had all these so-called medical treatments with no result. How do you know you got chronic Candida? A jock itch that won't go away. Itchiness around the men's private area. These are all telltale signs. Toenail fungus. Doctors will tell you it's a local problem. Anyone with a chronic recurring toenail fungus will have a gut problem. Usually have bloating, farting, sugar cravings that go along and feed the yeast. There are hundreds of species of yeast that live inside and outside of the body, and they all want food, they want warmth, they want moisture. They need these conditions to grow. And we tend to give in to those desires by giving them the wrong kind of food. So if you suspect you've got chronic Candida, there are many ways you can find out. I think the best way is to do a comprehensive stool test. I think it's still the best way really to discover not just if you've got chronic Candida, but also what kind of an intestinal environment you've got in general, what level of beneficial bacteria you've got, what imbalanced flora you've got, what kind of inflammatory patterns you're showing in the gut, what type of colon health you've got, what type of enzyme health you've got. This will all be revealed in a comprehensive stool test. So chronic Candida requires a multi-stage approach, and that's what we're going to look at in the next video. So as I mentioned, you will know you've got chronic Candida by having immune dysfunction, gut problems, and often some kind of a cognitive or dysfunction up here. You may have one or several. Some people with chronic Candida will only, for example, have a vaginal problem. Others will only have a gut problem. Others will have systemic problems all over. So make sure that you go to yeastinfection.org and read my signs and symptoms of yeast infection, the common and not so common. It's a long page. And you might be quite surprised to find that your pattern is there. And also don't forget to do my quiz. It's taken me a lot of time and money and effort to put this quiz together, and I think it's the best quiz on the internet regarding ascertaining if you've got mild, moderate or severe yeast infection. So go and check it out. These are all things I'll put on there for you for free, all to help people out. Thanks for your time.